What's going on, team? It's Caddy with Money Vesting. I hope that you all are having an amazing day. So this is going to be part of our daily market update on the S&P 500, ticker symbol SPX. So we'll look at the daily time frame and then we'll jump over to the 1 hour time frame to understand how the price interacted with those key support and resistance levels, and where are those next key support and resistance levels that we need to watch moving forward for the remainder of the week. As always, if you guys enjoyed this video, please make sure to drop a like. It really helps out with the channel. Also, if you're new, subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any future market updates and videos related to investing and technical breakdowns. So today was again one of those days when we saw a little bit of a sector rotation. So you can see this heat map, and again you'll notice tech taking a beating. Microsoft, Apple, Facebook all down over 1%, Amazon down close to 2%, Netflix almost 2.5% in the red, Salesforce down over 2%, and then again you can see financials and energy kicking it up with ExxonMobil and Chevron both up 5 and 7% respectively, and then JP Morgan up 2.17% with Bank of America being in the green at close to 3.5%. And then finally Wells Fargo charging to almost 7% in the green. So you'll notice that the S&P 500, even though tech was dragging, it still ended up in the green at 17 basis points. So if you're wondering why this candle is in the red even though we ended the day on the green, is because I've mentioned it in one of my previous videos, is because that I essentially keep this unchecked, which essentially says color bars based on previous close. So if I check this off, you'll see this candle turn green. But the reason I unchecked this is because I can simply understand that the markets went up today, 17 basis points for the S&P 500. But this just essentially goes to show that the markets opened higher, but then they closed at a much lower price. So you can see if you look at this candle, so you can see how the S&P 500 essentially opened at 32.68, but then it ended up closing at 32.57. So it just goes to show that there was a little bit of weakness on the pattern intraday, which we will go over in the 1 hour chart. But to give you guys a quick update and a quick overview, 3000 is going to continue to act our bull camp at this level where we have found support multiple times. This right here is the 3150 to 3155 level, which was previously acting as resistance and then more recently turned into our near-term bull camp and a very good level of support, because that's essentially where the price got hung up, and every time we approach that level the bulls essentially push the price higher, and there was a lot of buyer momentum and kind of like buy the dip sell the rip type situation around this level. And then we finally broke out of this resistance right here at the 3200 level, because that has previously acted as some type of support going back as far as right here on June 9th and June 8th, kind of like that level when we were finding that support. So we finally broke out of this level on July 15th, and then the next few days you can see there was a lot of indecision in the market, the pattern essentially making a doji candle on the daily time frame, and then we finally broke out of this resistance at 3230 yesterday, which was seen as a very clear level of resistance in all my prior market update videos. So this right here, you can see how going back as far as June 8th was acting as a very clear level of resistance, because we were at that price point at this time, and then the pattern or the S&P 500 essentially sold off over 7%. So definitely a lot of buyer momentum came in yesterday to push the pattern over 3230 resistance, and you saw this huge green candle and we jumped over 84 basis points on the day. While today you can see there was a little bit of weakness, even though we were up close to 17 basis points, there was definitely a little bit bearish momentum. But moving forward, the next key support level is going to continue to be at 3230. And if you were to kind of pull back on the chart, you'll notice that this level right here is from back in the last week of January. So this right here is when we essentially bounced off of the 3230 level. And now if I were to kind of zoom in on that chart, you'll notice that we kind of pulled back, bounced off of this level on January 27th. The S&P pushed up 1.74%. We retraced back to that level, and this support revalidated itself on February 3rd. So in the first week of February, we essentially bounced off of this level again and then hit all-time highs. So this support is going to continue to act as support moving forward if the pattern were to retrace down to this level. And the next resistance is going to sit at 3290, kind of like on the daily time frame. But now we're going to jump over to the 1 hour time frame to map out those intraday or 1 hour resistance and support levels. Alright guys, so here we are inside the 1 hour time frame. So you can see how there's been a little bit of bullish momentum in the pattern, and I have mentioned in all my previous updates that the fact that we were hitting support first, so you can see all these days we were hitting the support first and then we pushed up, and even on this day right here, which is going to be July 17th, when the markets opened at 9:30 a.m., we sold off, found that support, and then pushed up during the rest of the day. kind of goes to show that there is definitely a little bit of strength in the markets and the buyers are coming in and validating that support. Now, yesterday I mentioned that we have finally broken above the 3230 level, and this is the candle that we have recognized on the 1 hour chart, kind of like an inverted hammer or a doji or whatever you want to call it, kind of signaling a minor reversal, and we had foreseen a minor pullback down to the 3230 level. Well, today the markets did gap up, but we weren't able to break out of this resistance, which sits at the lower half of this rectangle at kind of like 3277 to 3280, which in my opinion is going to be the next resistance which the bulls need to watch out and break out of in order for the pattern to move even higher. So the next support that I'm going to be watching is going to be the low for this candle, and the reason I mentioned that is because you can see that towards the end the pattern was as low as 3247, but the bulls came in and pushed the pattern higher to close at 32.59, which is why you can see that there is such a long wick to this candle with a very small body. That essentially goes to show that the pattern was trading as low as 32.47, but the bulls came in, or the buyers came in and pushed the S&P 500 all the way up to 32.57, which is where it closed. So that's kind of like the range what we are following, 32.76 as the next resistance that we need to watch. The next support I'm going to be looking at is going to be 32.47, and then below that, you guys know that 32.30 is going to be kind of like the support which has previously acted as resistance, and then of course our next near-term resistance after 32.76 is going to sit at 32.90, which has previously acted as resistance as well if you were to move back all the way back in January 29th to the last week of January. So to give you guys a quick update, this right here is going to be the 1 hour chart. Next resistance sitting at this level right here, which is going to be 32.75. Next support, or the more near-term support, is sitting at right here, which is going to be 32.50 to 32.47 level. And then there's another resistance further out and another support further down below. Now, in terms of the momentum and in terms of where the markets are headed, is this a bubble? Are we going to retest lows from March, the 3,000 level? Now, to address that, I think the bulls are doing an incredible job of pushing our support higher and higher every day and every week. Because you guys know that earlier we were retracing back to the 3,000 level as our bull camp. Then finally that turned into the 3150 level. Then I can make an argument that the 3200 has been held up as a really good support as well. But to do that, we do need some more validation from the bulls. If we do retest down to this level, I would like to see the pattern essentially dropping, consolidating a little bit, and then pushing up higher to eventually break out of those resistance levels. But that being said, those are some of those levels that I'm going to be personally watching. Again, this is not a prediction. Nobody knows where the markets are going to go or are headed in the future. This is simply an analysis based on the price action and the support and resistance levels and where the markets can potentially go in the future, so we can manage our risk accordingly and we are able to foresee everything that can happen in the markets. And as always, if you guys did enjoy this video, please make sure to drop a like. It really helps out with the channel. Also, make sure that you subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any future market updates and videos related to investing and technical breakdowns. As always, happy investing, and I will see you guys in the next video.